And it's now time for Everything Entertainment with Shaita Atigare. Hello, Shaita.
Hi, Adesua.
How are you?
Hi.
I'm so hyped whenever you're here.
Me too, me too. I love seeing you guys. You already know this. But today we're going to be doing an exclusive interview. Let's go straight into it. Godwin Tom is one of Africa's entertainment industry's prolific change agents, constantly driving the management changes within the music and entertainment industry. With over 18 years as an artist and business executive, Godwin has practical experience and management level for marketing, public relations, image consulting, branding, and publishing over the years. He has also successfully worked with or managed talent such as Davido, Wizkid, Waje, M.I, Wande Cole, Bez, Ice Prince, Show Them Camp, to mention a few. Bringing professionalism to the entertainment industry with an understanding of the demands of a business environment, he is now introducing the Music Business Academy for Africa 2021, a platform dedicated to training and developing an informed and empowered workforce for Africa's entertainment industry. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, so of course we are celebrating Africa Day, so this interview is in fact perfect. So let's start off with this. I want to know what you think the state of the Nigerian and African music business when placed in comparison with global markets, of course, revenue as well.
Thank you. I think the first issue is we don't give ourselves enough credit for the work that we do in Africa. So globally, there are very few markets that are existing that are performing at optimal level compared to the States or the UK or Japan for that matter. So our markets are similar to Indonesia, similar to Europe, Ukraine, similar to multiple markets across the world. So we're doing great. The only thing is we are horrible with our branding. And I think that is where we need to develop a better understanding and that is where education comes in. So we're doing well, we're growing. We're not making as much money, but the potential is there. And that is why all these labels are coming back here and trying to figure out how to benefit from our market.
Interesting. It's that you'd say branding is horrible. I think I have an idea what you speak of. But what do you consider the biggest challenge to the growth of the music industry, and what are people like you doing to address that challenge?
So the first issue, I think, or the primary problem is education. I think that for any industry, whether it's oil and gas, whether it's construction or tech, you need people who understand how the systems work. And we do not have enough of that. We have a lot of people who are trying and failing, but we don't have enough people who have made an effort to say, this is how it works in our market. The US market is separate, the UK market is separate, the Japanese market is separate, South Africa is separate, and we need to start bringing people who understand the process. So it's education, knowing how the business works and identifying how to adapt global practices for local markets.
So let's switch the conversation a bit, right? Because I know that there is also a particular part of this program that is focused for women. You know, gender equality is a global issue, but particularly at home, women have had a lot of difficulty operating in the entertainment industry. What could you say are the main causes, and how can we fix this problem? What can we do about it?
The first issue is perception. There are a lot of women in the industry. It's generally perceived that the issue is a lot of the women in the industry are not sitting on the table. So that's the first problem. The second problem is there are cultural issues. So I've had to sit in multiple homes for different women I have worked with to explain to their families why they should let them work, why it's important to have more women in the system so that their voices are louder. And that is that's one of the biggest problems, because a lot of women, even if they're competent and talented, are struggling to come in because of perception of how they'll be taken or what they're afraid of that they haven't yet experienced. So talking to a lot of women, I have learned some of these challenges can be fixed by seeing role models. More women need to also speak up. So I'm talking to a number of women to say, look, if we can get you involved in this activity, I don't need to be involved, but you need to speak to the following 50 women because they're looking for someone to inspire them. So I think more women getting in increases the voice, the volume for women. It amplifies the fact that it is possible for more women to come in. And I think that's very important what we're doing. For MBA, we found out that the more women were able to get into the system, into the program, the more involvement, the more competent they became, which is why we set up the MBA for Africa Women's Fund this year to get more women in, because a lot of them want to, but they're discouraged from family to society to perception.
I agree. Definitely more women need to be brought to this table. And if we can't come to the table, maybe just create an entire new one for ourselves. But let's talk about the industry, the African music industry. It's often argued that Nigeria and Africa as a large, the music industry needs a lot more structure. I mean, we have people that are doing a good job, I'd say, but we still seem to be lagging behind. How can we fix that? How can this structure be built? And who should be involved in building it?
I think it goes back to education. People need to be more specific. So I'll give you an example. A lot of people do not know that the music industry is the music business is divided into four industries, right? So there's the recording industry, there's the publishing industry, there's the live industry, and there's the interactive industry. All these industries can exist by themselves. Now, we do have some structure. The issue is who the structure benefits, right? So at some point, the structure benefited the telcos. At another point, the structure benefited, banks and corporate companies. And I think for us to work properly, the structure that needs to be built is one that benefits the rights owner, the people who are creating and making the music. So this is why it is essential for platforms like COSON or MCSN to work properly, because they're the people who would drive a lot of those conversations. They represent the rights owners. So that's the first thing that needs to happen. There is structure. Don't get me wrong. There is a lot of structure. That is why organizations engage the industry. It just doesn't benefit the rights owner. Okay.
This is my last question to you, and I think probably the most important. Let's talk about this academy. Who can attend the Music Business Academy for Africa, and what opportunities or benefits will these participants and students get in less than a minute?
Over the last few years, we've been iterating, and what we found is a lot of people from corporate entities, record labels, artists themselves, talent managers have come through the program. So what we've identified is we've set up a curriculum that works for different industries. So if you're in the banking industry or in the corporate industry and you're trying to figure out how your organization can interact with the music industry, we've developed a curriculum that brings you in. If you're a musician, you want to learn how it works, how labels work so you don't get taken advantage of, you can register. If you're a creative entrepreneur, starting a business as a manager or a promoter, the program also caters to you as well. So basically, it's education for the music industry.
I mean, very quickly, royalties. Why is it that we're still lagging behind in royalties in Nigeria?
Because rights owners are not taking it seriously. Organizations like CMOs like COSON and MCSN operate based on the power given to them by the rights owner. So if the rights owner doesn't even know what he's entitled to or demand for certain things to be done, management is going to run amok with what they're doing. And I think that's the problem. It's the same thing with voting. It's the same thing with participation. The rights owners need to get involved. So it's one thing to want to perform every time and make money, but it's an entirely different thing to do the work so you can get there.
Thank you so much for that. I have indeed learned a lot. Godwin, Tom?